Good afternoon, everyone. Now, by the time you all see this podcast, it will be 2 weeks from our live, but that's okay. We wanted to jump back on and just thank you all so much for joining us on the 16th of last week for our very first live of Unleashed podcast. Again, it went very well. I got so many messages. Yes, and I got them DMs too. I sure did. I got them all through the podcast live and all in the night and the next morning. And there's a few that stood out that we want to talk about. This episode is strictly going to be follow-up on some of the questions we didn't get to answer last Thursday, or the Thursday the 16th, because again, it's 2 weeks. It'll be November by the time you all see this. But we want to just go back over some of the people that we missed and then touch on a couple that were, pretty important. And we don't want anyone to think we're just ignoring the whole topic, so we will touch on that as well. I'm Cara Maldonado, your co-host.
And I'm Kimberly Anderson, your other co-host, and we are really so grateful for that last conversation we had that we went live. It was a lot of fun. We really appreciated all the interaction and all the questions that had come through, even while we were on there. So that's kind of why we're doing this little part two, and just kind of do a little bit of the follow-up and go from there. So thank you again for being with us. We always appreciate your support.
Absolutely. So, couple of questions we didn't get to that I really want us to talk about, and it may take us throughout this episode, but I think it's important. It's important enough to mention it, and then you can hear our position on it as well as how we support this platform. One of the questions was, they wanted us to be more political, Kimberly. They wanted us to just really take what's going on in the world right now, in the news every day that we wake up and we go to bed to hearing all the craziness that's happening right now. And they said we should center our episodes around the conversations that are happening now. Can you share a little bit about why we don't do that here on the Unleashed Goddesses Among Us?
Absolutely. So, and I appreciate the question. I really do. I think there's plenty out there. If you want to be in the midst of a political conversation, you don't have to look far to go find that conversation. Here's where I've always stood on this when it comes to the Goddess platform, and that is that trauma, tragedy, and abuse don't give a shit what platform you like, what political party you're affiliated with. It doesn't care how you look, if you're skinny or fat. It doesn't care if you're allergic to seafood. It doesn't care if you love or hate dark chocolate. It doesn't care. It is not biased by anything. All of those things follow every socio-economical level. It is in every parts of the globe. And so for us in this platform, it's always been about a safe space for women to come and have a voice and speak their truth and share their stories. Because again, when we're in the midst of any trauma, tragedy, or abuse, we feel like we're alone. And that is so not the case. Absolutely so not the case. And so I am passionate about keeping this platform political free because it doesn't care. All of those things don't care. Every day, this hits home every day for somebody, all the time around the world. And we want to keep this platform for those voices, for women to come in every way, shape, and form of who they are and have a space and a platform to be able to speak their truth and offer those stories, be able to share those sacred parts of them where you're vulnerable and you're hurt and you've just been through so much and pain, and be able to just have that conversation and know that we're here to support you and empower you and help you heal and give you those resources. That's what this platform is for. That's what the Goddess platform has always been. I love you no matter what.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I ditto that. And it's very important for our viewers and potential viewers out there that are skeptical and want to go, what do you guys do over there? And are interested and want to join us and come on to the platform and or just look at our, podcast every week. The thing is, when we get too deep into, and this is my feeling, because remember, everyone out there, what we talk about is educational purposes only, based on our experiences and or the goddesses that are on our platform. We do take statistics that are nationwide, and global at some times if it's needed, and we will share those with you and where we've gotten that information from. But what we're saying now in the conversation we're having is how we truly feel. And the reason I agree with that is because when you start dividing people based on politics, blue, red, whatever, down the middle.
Religion.
Our religion, yeah. Race, social economics, all these things. If I was to sit here and raise my hand and woohoo to this certain lifestyle or this certain, legislation and do that, you will look at me differently. You will look at Kimberly differently. And you may be the one person that needs to hear what we have to say the most, but you've shut us out and you've prejudged because now you think that we're not going to want to take in our help, our deal, our listen, our support, be there for someone because they don't have our same beliefs. And that can be further from the truth. Further from the truth. I always say, I don't care if you was orange with purple polka dots. It does not matter to me where you come from. I want people to be kind, be respectful, be as loving as they possibly can. First, starting with yourself, and that can be taught because a lot of us didn't know how to love ourselves. So to alienate someone by throwing it out there that we believe in a certain thing, or we're supporting a certain group or our political group, we don't want to do that. Mm-mm. We don't want to do that and miss the opportunity to support or help someone because they feel like we don't understand them or they don't like us all of a sudden because they think we're on the wrong side of the fence. It's just not. It's not what our platform is, and although we respect and we understand why this person wanted to raise that question, I totally get it. But like Kimberly said, there are so many formats that they can go to if that is what they're into hearing, and seeing and being a part of. There's a lot of things that happened over the weekend to support all this. Now I stay neutral whether how I feel, because we're in a position of healing and helping and supporting people, and you have to remain neutral. It's hard sometimes because we're real people and we have real feelings, and there are some things that just aren't okay out there. But I don't want to use this platform to be able to raise those issues. And I hope that in saying that, that doesn't stir someone away or deter them for believing in us or supporting us. And I hope most of all, it's not something that we're disrespecting how you feel or, diminishing how anybody feels. That's not what we're trying to do here at all.
Well, and this isn't a political platform, period.
Yes.
This is for women to have a space and a voice, and we're here for that.
Yeah. And along those lines, and again, everyone is entitled to how they feel, and we don't want you not to send us questions. Please send us, you can send us you can send us whatever you want, and we choose to repeat it or to share it in a way where it's completely unbiased. We're not going to take sides. So we're not saying if you're upset about something you read or you heard and you want, to share it, please do. We're not saying to anyone, don't send us DMs, don't write comments, don't do that. That's not what we're saying. One of the other comments that we got was how is it that when white people, or maybe even just non-color people of color, I guess, say they don't see color? That was the question, and they wanted to know our stand on that, and our experiences with that. I've had experiences with that probably all my life, because I fit into categories in other people's eyes where I can be who knows what the heck I am, right? And I don't walk around with it on my forehead. So I've been subjected to so many different things, may it be sex, religion, color, because I'm a female, a lot because I'm a female. And when you become an educated female, especially in corporate, and you're a female of color, even if they can't figure out what color you are, okay, they don't like you because you're a female in the first place, right?
That's
So
that's the first check mark.
that's the first thing you have to look at. So that comment, and I know this individual may have experienced some things, and we just don't know where it's coming from, why it's not clear. Anything, I believe, that is discriminatory is not okay. It is just not okay. May it be race, religion, ethnicity, what region you come from in this world, what color you are, what your hair looks like, what your language is, because you get a lot of that too, and what foods you eat, where you live, all these things. If someone is putting you down, or if there's whole pockets of people that are judging based on any of those things, if you're pregnant, if you're LGBTQ, all of that, it's not okay. And we support and all of it. All of it. It doesn't matter. It does not matter where you walk of life you've come from, what religion you practice, what way of life you live, as long as it's not illegal. Okay. So we're not supporting anybody who is hurting children, hurting anybody. We're not supporting that. So, let's be clear about that. But what we don't agree with is any kind of discriminatory actions against anybody, no matter what it is, who you are. It's not okay. It is not okay. So to answer that question, that whoever and wherever you heard this from, and if this is something that you fear in your life or have to hear, this is not okay. None of it's okay.
And we have had goddesses on the platform that have shared their stories of dealing with things like that. So definitely their stories were, and actually we've even talked to a couple of them on these podcasts. So
we've shared their stories. And so we know it's real. We know it's a real thing. We're not dismissing it and not saying that. We know it's a real thing. What we're saying is we don't support it. It's not, and it's not okay. And if an individual thought they can come on air or comment something that was derogatory, discriminatory, racist, sexist, misogynist, all those things, we're not going to support that kind of conversation at all, period, in the end. And that is where we're clear on. But we do appreciate, and we want people to share with us their experiences. What are your experiences? And so then we can have a whole conversation around experiences that people are having, keeping it without isolation, judgment, politicizing it, but real life real-time experiences. And that's why we encourage everyone to continue to send us the comments, to put the comments in. Even when we post this, if you don't agree, comment that. Let's go have a conversation. If you don't agree and you have another side to it and you have an actual isolated experience that you want brought to light, I want to know about it. I want to hear about that, because then that's real and it's happening, and then we can get opinions from other people. But what we're not trying to do is utilize the platform for political reasons or for bashing anybody in particular, any group of people or anything like that. We, again, as Kimberly said in the beginning, this is a conversation, and when we do get the comments emailed or text to us, we have never used anybody's information, and we won't do it. Not unless someone is adamant about jumping on the podcast with us. And that is something we're considering for 2026, is to bring in guests on and doing more lives down the way. But we want to make sure that everyone understands that it's not going to be a banter and bash and all of that. We want it to be respectful. We want it to be safe, because it is, and it has always been, for women to come on here in a safe place, have a conversation with us, tell us their truth, and use their voice. And we stop. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and share their story, like, exactly.
And share their stories.
It's about people being able to come on and, again, women sharing their stories so we can bring light to situations, how to help or get out of those situations. That's why we're posting resources as often as we can, and really just giving, that's what this platform's about. It's for women to be able to have a platform to share their story and know that we're not alone. Because I know when I went through all mine, I felt totally alone. Like,
Absolutely.
had no help.
Yeah.
None at all. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
You know? And every woman I've talked to on this platform says the same thing.
Yeah.
They felt they were the only one on the whole planet that was going through the thing or the tragedy and dealing with the something. Mm-hmm. And that is so far from the truth. So far from the truth.
And a lot of that too is you isolate yourself, or you get isolated by your abuser, who's probably the biggest narcissist ever. Okay, and that happens. Or if you're young when it happens, like it started in my case, is that you're told that you're not supposed to speak about what goes on in the house. You're not supposed to tell anybody. So you it almost splits your personality and who you are, if you really think about it. You show up around school and friends and your sporting events and you know, music and dance class as one person, because you can never display that you're in pain, you're afraid, you feel immense guilt and shame, right? And that's what makes it so terrible. And I think that's what brings the isolation, and you start looking around and everybody seems so happy, but you know what? They're probably going through a lot of the similar stuff. And we're taught to lie and be bubbly and go out and hide your bruises and make up stories for this and that, you know, and it's so sad. So no, you're not alone. And it happens in adult life. When you get married and you get in an abusive relationship, you just become better at it.
Yeah.
You become better at that facade, because in a lot of cases, some of us have been doing it since birth. Okay, so then you just become better at it. And that's sad, because you got to get up every day and you have to look at yourself and you have to know, God, I got to paint up my face, put on this suit and go to work and just bullshit my day through the next 9-10 hours and come right back to the hellhole, right? To the cesspool, to whatever that looks like to you. And that is a horrible feeling. And that's what we want to support, and we want to give an outlet, because there's safety here. You can vent to us all different kind of ways. Drop a letter, DM me, do whatever. Behind the scenes here, we go on Zoom, we listen to stories, every way imaginable, and we get this information. And the last thing you want to do is repeat it, talk about it, make someone feel bad about what they went through, or attach a political component to somebody's trauma and somebody's grief.
Yeah.
So that's why we won't do that here on this platform. We will tell a story if that's your story. If you happen to be, running for vice president or something, and something happened to you, we want to know. We want to know about the stories, but we don't want to solely isolate what we do here and make it just a complete negative shit show. That's not what we want to do, So we wanted to jump on and share that, because I did get, text messages and a lot follow up after the 16th when we went live, and we didn't get a chance to address those. It went so long. It went longer than we thought, and we thank you all for that, because the messages and the chat just kept coming in, and that's what we love, and we wanted that. So we didn't get a chance to get down to those couple of things, and then so we wanted to come back on and once again just say thank you and shout out to my baby Jay, my granddaughter, because she was behind the scenes and I didn't get to shout her out, and she was working my chats on the Facebook, my Insta. She was doing it all, and she's only 15. And,
amazing.
So and it goes back to, you got to put those grandbabies and your kids to work. You have to give them the tools the minute they pick up a phone. Put them on a computer, have them file, teach them something, because when all else fails, they've got skills. When they get out of high school, they've got skills to walk right into, and I'm a firm believer of that. So showed up and she did what she needed to do. Nobody even knew she was there, so I appreciate that, and I was able to get my messages in a way that was very helpful to us. We missed a couple, but hey, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. Right? But it worked, and thank you again.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you all for being with us, and we totally appreciate you spending your time with us. So we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. All right. Be well, everyone.
You will. Be unleashed.